Angeline Era. This is one of the few indie games I was genuinely excited for, and it delivered everything I wanted and more. At a glance, it looks like just another PS1 style retro RPG, but it quickly proves it has its own identity, filled with creative ideas and a ton of personality. At the start of the game, you'll go through a tutorial and end up fighting a starting boss before being thrown into the overworld. While on this map, you can wander around and you can investigate a specific tile. Searching in the right spot will often uncover a dungeon or a town. Some of these are obvious, some of them are extremely hidden. But before entering the area, there's a mini game you have to play. You'll dodge hazards, fight a couple enemies, and try to reach the door in one piece. It's a small touch, but it sets a tone for each new location and adds a surprising amount of charm. The world itself is handcrafted, so it's full of secrets, jokes, traps, and little surprises. Sometimes you're rewarded, sometimes you open a hidden door and get instantly obliterated by some bizarre creature. The game loves to troll the player, but in a way that's more playful than frustrating because there's not really much penalty for death. It gives the world a chaotic but memorable feeling. Once inside a dungeon, the game becomes a blend of platforming, exploration, and combat. Levels are compact, but very cleverly designed. You'll find artifacts which can both help you with combat, like a grenade, or help with exploration, like a cube that gives you a little bit extra jump height. And the combat itself is called bump slashing. You attack by literally bumping into enemies. It sounds primitive, but it's surprisingly strategic and a ton of fun. If you bump into an enemy when they're in the middle of an attack animation, you'll counter them. You can bump slash enemies into walls for big damage. You also have to constantly be on the move because if you stand still, it lowers your guard. All of these parameters work against the player as well, and enemies will also hurt you if they hit you in the back. So a good defense is a good offense. It creates a fast, almost rhythmic combat loop. You're always repositioning, baiting attacks, or lining up the perfect counter, with your gun and the artifacts adding even more depth to that. The gun, for example, always fires to the top of the screen, and ammo is recharged by attacking enemies with your bumps, which makes ranged combat feel naturally tied to melee. Problem is, while you're shooting, you're leaving yourself defenseless. But if you can end up getting all the way to the end of a dungeon, in most cases you'll end up getting a scale. You will literally have to collect a set amount of these items to level up. You don't spend them, there's not any XP in this game in a traditional sense. It's just that the reward for completing a dungeon will give you basically a heart container from Zelda. Collect enough of them, you can level up, which gives you more health and more damage. One of Angeline Era's strengths and occasional frustrations is how open-ended it is. The game does not lead you by the hand, and as a result, two players can have a totally different experience. In my playthrough, for example, I fought several bosses early on, then almost none at the mid-game. It's not like the game didn't have more bosses to throw at me, it's just that I coincidentally must have avoided all of their dungeons. The same thing happened with weapons. I only found a couple of them near the end of the game purely by accident, which can be both a blessing and a curse because so many areas in this game feel like they just come to an abrupt end for no reason. And I can't help but sit here wondering whether or not I just didn't do what I was supposed to do to actually have the area complete properly. Or was the game just trolling me? But anyway, my overall impression for a two-person team, Angeline Era is genuinely impressive. It constantly surprises you, sometimes with humor, sometimes with clever mechanics, and sometimes with a dramatic story beat you didn't see coming. I finished my playthrough in a little over 8 hours, but there is easily over 20 hours worth of content if you dig up every secret. And trust me, I'll definitely be diving back in. The game is just so good at giving you little bite-sized dungeons that it's very easy to just pick it up, play it for 10 minutes, hop off. As for my recommendation, did this little indie game live up to the hype? Absolutely. It delivers a unique, fun, constantly surprising experience that stands out from the usual retro-inspired crowd. I genuinely hope the developers are proud, and I also hope that this game pops off for them. In my own small way, I hope that I sell you on this game, because I do believe that it's worth your time and investment. Angeline Era will definitely be making it onto my Game of the Year list.